Have you ever sat in a quiet room, moments after a loved one has passed, and felt that the silence itself was not empty, that it was holding something? Our world often paints death as a sudden departure, a final curtain falling on a stage that immediately goes dark. We are taught to picture a swift journey to a distant heaven or a final judgment before an unseen power. But what if the transition is not a departure at all? What if it is a homecoming? Ancient wisdom, echoed in the quiet chambers of the heart, speaks not of an abrupt ending, but of a sacred pause. It describes the first day after our last breath, not as a void, but as a gentle unveiling, a time when the spirit for a moment remains poised between two worlds, the one it knew and the one it is becoming. This is not a frightening passage. It is the soul's first encounter with its own true nature, freed from the weight and density of the physical form. Together, let us walk through the stages of this profound journey. We will explore how consciousness lingers, how truth is revealed not by a judge, but by a mirror within, and how the call to move forward is not a command, but a loving invitation back to the light from which we came. This is the soul's first day of eternity, and it holds the keys to understanding how we must live today. The journey begins with a surprising stillness. In those first hours, ancient traditions teach us that the spirit does not soar into some faraway dimension. Instead, it lingers, drawn by the invisible threads of love and habit to the world it just left behind. Think of the way you might walk through your childhood home after many years away. You run your hand along a familiar wall. You look out a window and see the same tree, now older. A feeling of gentle attachment arises, a sense of belonging that time has not erased. The newly freed consciousness feels a similar pull. It may drift through the rooms it once called home, observing the quiet grief of family, still connected by the powerful energy of memory and love. In this space, you begin to understand a transformative truth. You are not your body. You perceive, you witness, you feel, and yet, the form you so deeply identified with now lies still. You might try to reach out, to offer comfort, only to realize that your touch is no longer felt. This isn't a sorrowful discovery. It is the first great awakening, a compassionate lesson from the universe itself. You were always more than flesh and bone. What remains is the essence of who you are, pure, unfiltered awareness. And from this space of profound stillness, the soul is prepared for its first true encounter with itself. After the initial moments of quiet observation, the soul enters a space of profound self-reflection. This is not a judgment from an external source, but a deeply personal unveiling. Imagine standing before a perfectly still lake at dawn, where the water is so clear it mirrors the entire sky without distortion. Your life becomes that sky, reflected back to you in perfect detail. This is the soul's mirror. For a lifetime, you may have defined yourself by your job, your role in the family, the face you saw in the mirror each morning. We carry these identities like heavy coats. But now, those coats have fallen away. All that remains is the warmth of the heart that wore them. In this mirror of awareness, you don't just see your actions, you feel the intention behind them. You experience the ripple of a kind word you once offered a stranger. You feel the sting of an impatient response you gave to a child. Earthly trophies, the titles, the possessions, the achievements, fade like distant stars at sunrise. They have no weight here. What shines with undeniable brilliance is the quality of connection you fostered. Did you choose compassion when it was difficult? Did you live with an honest heart? Did you learn to love well? This revelation is not meant to be a punishment, but a transformative gift. It is here you realize that life's purpose was always simple: to learn to open your heart. This powerful truth prepares the soul, purifying it for the next stage of its journey forward. As the soul absorbs the reflections from its life, a new feeling begins to surface. At first, there is a natural attachment to what was left behind, but slowly, a gentle current begins to stir. An unseen pull, not of force, but of resonance. It's like the feeling a migratory bird must have when it senses a change in the season. No map tells it where to go, but an ancient wisdom within its heart calls it homeward. In the same way, the soul begins to remember that earth, as beautiful as it was, is not its final destination. Faint echoes of loved ones who have passed before may drift into awareness. A profound sense of peace may settle, as if unseen hands are resting gently upon you. But consciousness is granted a sacred choice. Not every soul embraces this current immediately. Some hesitate, still clinging to the shores of the world they knew, worried about their grieving family or unfinished plans. Ancient teachings tell us this resistance is a natural expression of love and attachment. The soul is not rushed, it is invited. For those who trust the current and allow themselves to be guided, the fear of the unknown begins to dissolve, replaced by a sense of homecoming. For those who resist, the state of confusion can last longer. Yet, the loving pull of the great river of life is constant. It never gives up. Eventually, every spirit remembers its true nature is to flow and begins to turn its awareness toward the light. Even as the soul feels this gentle call homeward, denial can arise like a morning fog, obscuring the path. It is a natural defense, born from a lifetime of identifying with the physical world. If you spent your whole life believing you were the vessel, it can be disorienting to realize you are the river itself. From this space of attachment, the soul might whisper, "This isn't real. I am not gone." It might try to return to familiar habits, to linger in the spaces of its life, seeking confirmation that everything is as it once was. But amid this final struggle, a new perception begins to break through the fog, a glimmer of light. It may appear as a gentle glow on the horizon of consciousness, or as a feeling of immense and unconditional love. It feels both vast and deeply personal, a presence that knows you completely and accepts you without question. This light is not an invasion. It is an invitation, waiting with infinite patience. It is the beacon of your true home, reminding you that your journey has a destination far greater than what you have left behind. For most, this first encounter with the light dissolves all resistance. Fear gives way to a sense of wonder. Hesitation transforms into a quiet readiness to continue the journey. The soul begins to turn, because in that radiant presence, it recognizes the echo of its own eternal essence. If the journey we are exploring resonates with the quiet wisdom of your own heart, I invite you to become part of this community. This is a space for seekers, for those who know there is more to our existence than what the physical eyes can see. Take a moment now to subscribe to this channel so you can continue to walk this path of understanding with us. Together, we can remind each other of the light that awaits within and beyond. Once the soul turns toward this beckoning light, it finds it is not walking alone. The path forward becomes clear, not through sight, but through feeling. And on this path you are met. Spiritual traditions have long described the presence of guides who come to assist the soul in its transition. These are not strangers. They may appear as loved ones who have passed on, now radiant and whole, their presence dissolving any lingering fear. Imagine the relief of seeing a beloved grandparent or a dear friend, their familiar love acting as a bridge from the known to the unknown. For others, these guides may appear as beings of pure light, radiating a wisdom that the soul instantly trusts. These encounters are uniquely personal, tailored to the needs of each spirit. They are here to offer reassurance, to gently acclimate the soul to a reality where thought is form and love is the very air you breathe. It is a gradual introduction into a higher state of being. You are not thrown into the vastness of the ocean, but gently guided into its peaceful currents. These compassionate guides act as your bridge, ensuring the passage from one state of awareness to the next feels not like a departure, but like coming home. Guided by this loving presence, the soul is led into a space of deeper learning, a peaceful realm of reflection. Here, you are given the opportunity to understand the full tapestry of the life you lived. This is not a judgment. It is an illumination. Imagine you are an artist, and for your entire life, you worked on a single thread on a massive tapestry, unaware of the grand design. Now, for the first time, you are standing back and seeing the whole picture. You see not only your thread, but how it wove through the lives of others, creating patterns of beauty, of shadow, of connection. You see the moments you chose love, and how those golden threads strengthened the entire fabric. You also see the missed opportunities, the moments where fear caused you to withhold kindness, not as mistakes to be punished, but as lessons awaiting completion. In this expanded awareness, you finally understand. You grasp why you were born into the family you were, why you faced certain challenges, and why you met the souls you did. The laws of nature reveal that Earth was a sacred schoolhouse, and every experience was a perfectly designed lesson for your soul's growth. The forgiveness you didn't offer, the creative gifts you didn't share, these are not gone. They remain as seeds within you, ready to be planted in a future garden. This merciful review is not meant to create regret, but to instill purpose. It awakens within the soul a readiness to continue its eternal education. With this newfound clarity, the most natural question arises in the soul's awareness. What is next? The journey does not end with reflection. It opens into a conscious choice about the path of growth ahead. Ancient teachings call this the cycle of rebirth, not as a punishment, but as a profound opportunity. Your soul is not sent back to earth. It is drawn. It resonates with the lessons it still needs to master. Think of a musical instrument. If a string is out of tune, it cannot create a harmonious sound. In the same way, the soul is drawn to the people and circumstances that will help it find its perfect harmony. If it struggled with patience, it may be drawn to a life that requires deep reserves of it. If it learned the beauty of compassion, it may be drawn to a life where it can serve others. This is not a mechanical process. It is guided by wisdom and love. The soul, with the help of its guides, participates in choosing the conditions that will best foster its growth. Every return to the physical realm is another classroom, another chance to transform an old fear into new strength, to deepen love. The seeming randomness of life on earth is, from this higher perspective, a purposeful and elegant design. Every soul is exactly where it needs to be to take its next step on the long journey home to unity with its source. Throughout this entire sacred journey, one law remains absolute: the freedom of the will. No soul is ever forced to move forward. The light invites, but it does not command. The current guides, but it does not drag. The path of growth is always a choice. Some souls, filled with the wisdom from their life review, are eager to continue their learning. They see challenge not as a burden, but as the friction needed to polish the gem of their spirit. Others, however, may resist. They might still be attached to the echoes of earthly desires, anger, materialism, or fear. Such souls may choose to wait in the spiritual realms, not yet ready to take on the next set of lessons. Their journey is simply slower, but never abandoned. There is no eternal damnation in a universe built on love. The divine spark within every being can never be extinguished. Resistance may delay growth, but the innate hunger to reunite with the source is an irresistible force. Eventually, every soul will turn back toward the light. This freedom is the ultimate expression of divine respect. It ensures that every lesson, when finally learned, is truly owned. Your life now, your struggles, your joys, they are not random punishments or rewards. They are the curriculum you have chosen. Every difficulty holds a silent invitation. Here is your path to becoming more. The journey is yours and yours alone. Ultimately, what fuels this entire journey, what quickens the pace of learning and dissolves all resistance, is the timeless power of love expressed through service. Wisdom traditions across the world all point to this single, unifying truth. Spiritual growth is measured not by what you know, but by how you love. From the higher perspective of the soul, you see that every selfless act, no matter how small, becomes a radiant light that illuminates your eternal path. A moment of patience with a frustrated loved one, a quiet act of generosity for a stranger, the simple choice to forgive. These actions are the true currency of the universe. A life of quiet service and sincere compassion advances the soul far more than a life of worldly success empty of love. Service is what aligns you with the very nature of creation, which is to give. When you act to ease the suffering or lift the spirit of another, you are vibrating at the same frequency as the divine. It is the great accelerator of the soul's journey. Where fear creates friction and delay, love creates a smooth and graceful passage. Through these simple, daily acts of kindness, you are preparing yourself not just for a peaceful transition, but for a joyful reunion with the source from which all life emerges. All of the lessons, all of the lifetimes, and all of the choices are leading to one magnificent destination, the soul's complete and joyful reunion with its divine origin. Every moment of struggle on earth was a step on the path back to the wholeness from which you came. The afterlife is not a final reward, but a vital part of that journey home. This unity is not the end of your existence. It is the fulfillment of it. Think of a single drop of water returning to the ocean. It doesn't disappear, it becomes the ocean, while still retaining its unique essence. In the same way, the soul merges with the infinite, becoming an expression of its boundless love and creativity, without losing the beautiful identity it has cultivated over lifetimes. The final destiny of every soul is not to escape the world, but to help transform it by embodying this divine love. And that is the ultimate promise of this journey. No matter how many detours you take, no matter how lost you may sometimes feel, every single soul finds its way home. And so, as we reflect on this journey, a profound truth emerges. Life does not end, it merely changes form. Death is not a wall, it is a doorway into a greater reality. Every choice we make today is not just for this lifetime, but for the eternity that follows. It is our love, our compassion, our service to one another that builds the beautiful home to which our soul will one day return. There is no soul that is ever lost, for the light within us is the same light that calls to us from beyond. See your life not as a race against time, but as a sacred classroom. See every challenge as a teacher, and every moment as an opportunity to love. For you are an eternal being on an eternal journey, always, always on your way back home. If you believe that the true purpose of life is this journey of growth and love, then make a quiet commitment to your own path. Take a moment to subscribe, and in doing so, affirm that you are a seeker of wisdom, dedicated to living with awareness. Let this be a promise to yourself to continue this beautiful, eternal journey with purpose and an open heart. Share this message with those you feel might need to hear it. And please, share your own wisdom in the comments below. What do you feel awaits us? Together, we walk each other home. May you continue your journey in light and in peace.